fucking brown and white Menomaniac, where we are. Episode 6 in the day. In the night. People in the night, radiation, mighty gay. Roll by my name, Dr. fucking Brown is here to say, brain white eyes, flying eye, metal maniac, and it's time to die. Mad frustration, burning fucking blow and bringing fire like electric funeral pyre.
Yeah,
baby. Ladies and gentlemen,
it is a time
the
for
moment you all been waiting for. Episode 6, Metal Maniacs. Dr. Brown and William.
We're live here on YouTube, everybody.
Me and Brown went to bed too late enough to soon. Come on. My boy there's still spinning. Too much food. Yeah, Dr. Brown.
Yeah, what's going on?
Both night. Look where the cat dragged in, Dr. Brown. How you doing?
Everything's going well, YR. How about yourself, man?
Doing pretty pleasant. Big show.
That's good. Good to hear. Everything's going good on this end over here. We got a couple of topics we want to talk about here. We're going to save the main one for later on.
Right.
But first and foremost, we want to send our thoughts, prayers, and condolences to Iron Maiden frontman Bruce Dickinson. It was announced this morning that his estranged wife, Patty Baldwin, died this morning. Found this what is called a tragic accident. Yes.
So that's Iron Maiden frontman Bruce Dickinson, his estranged wife. Now he currently has a girlfriend.
Yeah,
she was living on the property.
Yeah, and basically they were still apparently at that time him and Patty was still living together up until this moment there. Apparently he has already issued a statement saying this is a terrible tragedy which appears to be a tragic accident. Our children Austin, Griffin, and Kira and I are devastated. Out of respect for Patty, we will not be making any further comment at this hugely difficult and painful time for our family, he shared through his representative. Now, what it was is that Bowden was his second wife. They paired the two tied the knot in 1990, but sadly split after 29 years of marriage. Now, Dickinson, who
have you heard of her before?
Not really. No, I knew he was married. He had a couple kids of his own, but we never really knew her name. In fact, the only spouse I know from Iron Maiden would have to be Lauren Harris, who is a singer, who is the daughter of bassist and founder Steve Harris, and she's, I understand, has a singing career of her own. So, once again,
I think she worked in the business.
Yeah, really?
The music business, yeah.
Yeah. Now, Dickinson, by the way, is rumored to be dating this fitness instructor named Lena Dolci. I think it is Dolci. I think that's how it's pronounced. But I guess this has struck down, and we don't know what it was. Apparently, they're saying it's an accident, or we don't know if something happened at the home, or did she succumb to some a heart attack or whichever. We still don't know for this time being. This happened this Tuesday morning. So
This is
have to,
breaking. This is basically breaking news, rock
yeah,
news here
yeah,
for you. To
yeah.
already start the show with, but
Yes, it's pretty sad, And once again, our condolences, thoughts and prayers to Mr. Dickinson, his
yeah.
family, his
Do they have
friends,
kids
and his
together?
him and Patty. Yes, I believe so. They
Oh,
have 3 kids.
yeah, that's not good.
I know. 29 years, and now all of a sudden they were estranged at this time, and sadly, she's now gone.
Oh, we do have Cronin in your chat.
Really, yeah. But if it is going to be now, now here's the thing. No, wait a minute. I hope. Oh, yeah. It's still. If it
We
is,
need Joe's
well,
top
if
three. We
but
need Joe's top three favorite bands.
well, we need to find out if it's really him because we have all these fake channels coming in on various programs like ours, a Minnesota Vikings fan. So if it
Well,
you
I'm typing in the chat of top three rock bands if you want to
okay,
join in.
right,
Cronin. Cronin
yeah,
needs to put this program in his Patreon. We need to be under the Cronin umbrella.
and YR, I think your end is are you on right now? YR right now on your channel?
I
Let
should
me
be. Let me look.
let me check here and there. Says here and basically lasts about 3 seconds. Apparently it's gone
What?
on your. There we.
Seconds. Oh, that's my test stream, Dr. Brown. I'll send you the
Oh,
link to
okay.
the new stream.
Okay,
Yeah, that was the test stream.
all right. So here we go. I got it right now. I actually got it right now.
All right, I
got it
sent
on
you the
pop.
link. I sent you the link on my
All
other.
right, I got it
Let's
going
do a
on right.
quick sound check to make sure everything.
I actually got it right now.
Okay,
I
one,
see.
two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Quick sound check to make sure everything.
I actually got it right now.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, it's good. Yo, Joe, if that's really let's now look in your chat. If that is Joe,
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I mean, like, are we really not talking about music and talking about fucking? Why are they talking about Scott?
I have no clue, but I think what it is, I don't know. It's trying to distract us from what we're trying to talk about here.
I don't
But
think that is. I don't think that's
no,
drama.
I don't know.
I
No,
don't think
it can't. It's a fake account.
I don't
Remember
know, that's supposed-
we had this a few times before on Minnesota Vikings fans' chat there a couple times. So
people can't like be serious for once and try to get down to some serious and learning discussions. Everything has to be poo poo and pee pee. So
I know. So
they need to fuck off. My bad. Go ahead.
Okay.
I just thought it was.
So once again, so before we were slightly interrupted, our condolences to Bruce Dickinson, the frontman of Iron Maiden. His estranged wife, Patty Bowden, passed away earlier this morning in their home in London. So, and also thoughts and prayers to the members of Iron Maiden and their families as well, because they probably definitely knew her as well as Dickinson's sons and daughter there as well. All right, so I guess they're supposed to be going on tour this coming June. I guess that may not be postponed to June 2021.
Oh, there's no concerts in 2020.
Oh, no,
Major.
yeah, obviously.
I mean, you probably have small, maybe numbers type, but not no big major.
Not no big arenas or stadiums or amphitheater audiences. That's for sure
not
right now.
Yeah.
All right. All right, so let's dive into the topic that we got here tonight. The shocking album covers deal here. I came up with this idea last week before the end of our last broadcast, and let me give it a little introduction. As you know, the album covers that sells basically they're one of the key elements in selling albums. If the album cover is interesting, so is the music. It worked with many acts from the 70s, 80s, and not much in the 90s because by that time vinyl was pretty much scarce and The only vinyl he was able to find was from Europe or England or whichever other country. It was basically CDs and cassettes, well, later on, just CDs all in general. And now with all these, music streaming sites there, it's kind of like, you hear the songs, but you don't really get the image that comes along with the songs. And that's a pretty sad thing. I mean, Axl Rose spoke about this in an interview a couple of years back when they got back together. And sadly, it's probably because, it's to me it's sad because I've said it stated before, the album covers gave a little bit of interest to the album itself, whether it's
Right.
abstract, whether it's shocking, or whichever. And most of the album covers for the CDs are just plain lame.
Right.
It's a,
Nowadays.
yeah. So we want to go by some album covers that have really, really shocked the crowd. It gave a name to the band, but also gave a kind of a negative light to the band as well. Because, for example, the first Black Sabbath album, simply called Black Sabbath, which came out in
Yes.
1990. No, not
Right.
excuse me, 1970. What the fuck is wrong with me?
Come on, man.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it came out in 1970, and it was released on Vertical Records in the UK. It was released on Warner Brothers here in the States. Now, the UK version of that album, believe it or not, featured an inverted cross with some sort of a dark laced poem to go along with the album cover, with that image of that woman in the black robe,
Well, in the
standing.
field or whatever, right?
And yeah, it was in a water mill by
Yeah.
Oxfordshire, England. There, which, by the way, that woman's name is what's her name? Listen, fucking, I forgot her damn name. I know I mentioned it on my channel there, but her name was basically. I follow her on Twitter, by the way. She has a musical project of her own called, which is far different from heavy metal. It's called like a relaxing new age electronica stuff there. But rest assured, people are going to be going there because they now know that she was that woman, that model on the first Sabbath album cover.
Yeah, and that's when was that released in America?
That was released in 1970.
In America or just
And
England or both?
I'm possibly thinking both at that time.
Okay.
Yes. Now, Sabbath would later have other shocking album covers as well, including Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, which came out in 1973. And the story about that is, look it up, YRC, because you can definitely look it up there. It is kind of pissed off a lot of parent groups, a lot of Christian groups as well, because of the
What's the
cover.
name of it, the album?
Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. And it basically the front cover, as you know, was depicted a
Oh,
man. Yeah, it depicted a man with a snake around his neck being choked. A bunch of half human, half demons surrounding him. The bedposts have a 666 on there, and a
yeah.
big skull and a big lunging arms about to get him, I guess. And on the back cover shows the same guy in his bed, with people around his bedside praying for him. Basically, it was about a man dying a peaceful death and the same guy dying a horrific death there. Something out
Like,
of
do
what
you believe in hell and heaven and hell?
Yes,
Doctor?
yes, and I have heard those recordings from hell from Siberia from
Yes.
1989. That was fucking freaky, dude.
Yeah, that's real.
It may be. Nobody else can come up with something like that. Who knows? Probably one of these days it'd be good to interview those scientists who dug that hole that deep there and ask their opinion of it. But most likely they didn't want to talk about it at all because they were scared shitless. They've since closed that hole up and not been there back since that.
Now, the Sabbath Bloody Sabbath album, what is the best song off that album?
For me, that would have to be basically either the title cut or A Natural Acrobat or Who Are You, which basically is an all synthesizer song. I know Rick Wakeman from Yes contributed a few keyboards on that particular album there. You know. And so,
Now, that's more of like in the religious, because back then devil and stuff like that, that was frowned upon.
Yes, it was. A lot of kids and Sabbath at that time. Thanks to the publicity generated by the first album, and plus the story that a young practicing nurse hung herself while listening to their second record back in England. That kind of like gave 'em the idea that gave people the idea that that they were Satan's right hand men. And also keep in mind that Warner Brothers held a release party with Anton LaVey from the Church of Satan as its MC. So that definitely suited in their reputation right there as Satanists. I mean, for here out, yeah. So many parents, many Christian groups, many school groups, or whichever, really went after Black Sabbath because of those images. Which, by the way, was not the band's idea; it was the record company's idea. At that time, different forms of religion like mysticism or Hinduism, Wicca, every other religion except Christianity was being more embraced by the people around that time, back in England and in the States as well.
Right.
So I guess the company was cashing in on that trend right there with that particular album cover, and plus the dark overtones of the album its whole self kind of like added to that cover as well.
Go down the list here. Let's see
Okay,
what else.
I have another one here. Now we definitely need to dig into the Scorpions here because they're like considered the kings of the censored album covers.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I showed that to you on your video. I think it was a few days back. You were like, "What the fuck?" The album I'm talking about is a Virgin Killer, which came out in 1976 on the RCA label. Now, this is the album cover that was deemed child porn in the country of Sweden. There, in fact, here's a little something here.
Child porn here.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, if they were to put
Basically,
that,
tell the audience what it was.
yeah, it's Virgin Killer, as I mentioned, came out in 1976 on the RCA Records label, and it
Right.
just showed a 10-year-old blonde girl in the buff in a seductive pose with a what they call a shattered glass effect around her downstairs area. The album caused a lot of controversy, and it's basically was the record company's idea as well as a way of getting attention. The three C's of the entertainment industry: controversy creates cash. It works all the time.
Well, this was, so basically, like it was an adolescent female nude, but
Yes.
the part where the vagina is, it was a shattered glass. It was
yeah,
covered
so
with
covering
shattered
that,
glass.
covering
Now
that.
the breasts, were there.
The breasts, yeah, but it wasn't fully developed. Now, the reason they did this, as I mentioned, was basically the company did, as I mentioned, they did that as a way of getting attention towards the band, generating publicity. Now, 15 years later, after that cover was shot, the band themselves would run into the same model, much older, and she said she had no problem posing for it. But, however, one of their former guitarists, Ole John Ross, said he was against the cover, and he says there was nothing in his power to stop that from happening. Now,
Right.
in a sense of that, the album had to be sold in a little black plastic bag, something like that they did with the last Led Zeppelin studio album. And of course, in August of 2015, a court in Sweden said that it was considered the album cover to be child pornography. Now, here's a little something here I was reading up here on the Wikipedia. Apparently, in May of 2008, the U.S.-based social conservative site WorldNet Daily reported the cover image on Wikipedia to the FBI. A subsequent investigation by the FBI concluded that the artwork did not violate any U.S. laws.
Mm-hmm.
Now, E-Content magazine subsequently reported the Wikipedia community.
Subsequently.
Yeah.
Subsequently.
Subsequently. Thank you. Reported
Subsequently.
Subsequently.
Try saying
Okay.
it. Subsequently.
Subsequently Okay.
You got it. You got
Yes,
it.
and because remember, my apologies, folks, because I have a hard
No,
time
you're good.
I have a hard time
Help you.
pronouncing certain long words. Reported the Wikipedia community's internal debate as concluding that, quote, prior decision has determined by broad consensus that the Virgin Killer cover will not be removed, and asserted that Wikipedia contributors favor inclusion in all but the most extreme cases. End of quote. Now, in December of that same year, the Internet Watch Foundation, a UK-based non-government organization, added the Wikipedia article Virgin Killer to its internet blacklist due to concerns over legitimacy of the image, which had been assessed as the lowest level of legal concern. Erotic posing with no sexual activity. Now, as a result, people are using many major UK ISPs were blocked from viewing the entire article from the clean feed system, and a large part of the UK was blocked from editing Wikipedia owing to the means of blocking in use, following representations by the Wikipedia Foundation, who hosted the Wikipedia website where I'm reading this from, and legal complaints. The IWF reversed their decision 3 days later and confirmed that in future they would not block copies of the image that were hosted overseas. The IWF stated that one of the reasons for reversing the decision was that it had increased public interest in that image, as example as the Streisand effect here.
Now,
Now,
did you ever own this album?
no, I never did own this album. I did own the cassette version of their the one that came before it, In Trance, which by the way was
Yeah.
also
Great
since
song.
yeah great, as well as a great album as well. But now here's another thing. That cover also had to be censored as well. Now, if you look on it, it's probably now shows the original cover on
This is
it.
basically, let's just dive into the whole Scorpions thing because there's a couple that are
Oh yeah,
questionable.
oh
But
yeah.
let's go in. What I'm looking now. What's the
The,
entrance talking
in
about?
trance, yeah. It shows a blonde model in a black dress there, and it shows her right breast being exposed. Now, RCA later, of course, black out the right breast.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I see some that are blacked out, and then I see some that are not.
Yep, yeah,
Dang.
she. I don't know
Bro,
who the model.
all of their album, like the ones that we're gonna discuss here, like their
Yeah,
album covers, like
yeah.
they'll be good. They'll be cool, like on a shirt, on a
Oh yeah,
T-shirt.
definitely. I know they probably could probably order it. Order some of those shirts. I guess when I looked on there.
Well, I have. I ordered that. That one Black Sabbath shirt that I
Yeah,
told you about. What's that album?
sabotage.
Yes, I
Yeah,
ordered that one.
that's
So
nice, cool. Now, now keep in mind that, of course, as I mentioned, that album had to be, of course, it didn't have to be changed completely. They just deleted out the right breast
So
that
yeah,
was
so basically
exposed.
what it is a chick, it's a blonde chick, and like she has a guitar,
Yeah, so
but
like she's like
it's
trying
like
to, it's in a like oh she's like in a trance over this guitar, let the music trance you, something like that, which explains the title of the album. Now, of course, now you also got to move on to Taken by Force, which didn't show any nudity, but it showed but a couple of kids playing toy guns in a French military cemetery, which I guess people found that offensive, so they had changed
damn.
that. So they changed that
Yeah.
album cover. And of course, we were talking about this with Simo the last time. Love Drive, the original cover of that,
Yes.
which was done by the boys at Hypnosis, Storm Thorgerson and Aubrey Powell, the two guys behind the all those covers for the Alan Parsons Project,
Well, hold on.
UFO.
Let's rewind it a bit.
hmm
On this Taken by Force album by
Yeah.
the Scorpions, what's the best song on there?
I don't know. I have yet to actually hear it myself. I only read about it a couple of times, pretty much. But you know what? I think it's on YouTube, but I will definitely check it out since I've been getting into a lot of some of the earlier Scorpions work, like Lonesome Crow. I dig that album a lot.
Let's see, what's another shock? Here, I'm gonna throw out one.
Okay.
Well, let's keep it on the Scorpions.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And,
Yeah, Love Drive. Now that came out in
yeah,
1979. The cover was done, as I mentioned, by Hypnosis, who did covers for Pink Floyd, Alan Parsons Project, Led Zeppelin, UFO. They did a couple for Black Sabbath, one for AC/DC, and
right.
it showed a man and woman dressed in the 1930s in the back of a 1930s car, and the guy is like slowly removing bubblegum from a woman's right breast.
Is that what it is? Bubblegum?
Yeah, I believe so. Something like that, I believe. That's what it's often cited as here. I guess when it may be or may not be bubblegum, but
I
still,
thought it represented like the woman was like made of clay or something because it's like it's like glue. Let's say like or she's melting or something. But you're right. It makes sense
bubblegum.
to be bubblegum.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, something like that. It definitely looks like it as well. Now, that cover had, of course, as well as the others, had to be censored as well. You just decided to put the logo with the title on it. You know, with just a big scorpion looking at you, like they do with some of the images you see on the shirts and that. Then,
Right.
of course, Animal Instinct, which came out, so I guess in the 1990s, that
Animal
featured
magnetism.
Animal Magnetism and Animal Instinct.
Oh,
Animal
that's
Mag
another one.
Yeah, that came out, I guess, in I forgot what year it was, but it showed the
I'm looking it up right now, Dr.
yeah,
Brown. And how do you spell instinct?
instinct, INSTICT,
All right.
and it showed it a human family inside of a cage in the buff, while a whole bunch of
Pure
animals are
instinct?
pure instinct, I think, and I think it's Animal Instinct. Yeah, it's called if I
No, no.
remember.
Listen, the one where because I looked up animal instinct comes up the cranberries,
All
but
right.
it comes up pure instinct for scorpions. That was 1996.
Let me look it up here.
Here, let me look at the cover.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. It is a family inside of a cage.
Yes, and all these animals, they're in the buff, and all these animals are outside looking at them like they're the animals, and they're the ones inside of a zoo, and
Damn.
they decided to remove the family out of the cover later on. And Animal
Mm.
Instinct, as you know, had a woman look it up of some guy with a little dog next to her. And I guess it was depicting the women as dogs, bitches, basically, since a bitch is often referred to as a female dog at times.
Right.
Yeah. And also, we will conclude with Love at First Sting from 1984. The image of that young kid, tattooing an older woman's left or right thigh. While
What's the name of that?
Love at First Sting. Showed it, I guess it's older woman and a younger boy in a
Oh,
leather jacket embracing each other. And while she's getting tattooed on her, a tattooed scorpion right on her, one of her thighs there. That had to be changed. They decided to go for the, decided to make the back cover of the album, which featured the band walking towards the camera, as the new front cover for that.
dang.
Wow.
Yeah, I see that one.
Yeah, so needless to say, the Scorps are definitely the king of censored album covers. Most definitely.
Dang, they really are.
Yeah, they are.
Y'all
Now,
need to look these up, folks.
yeah, I know. Now, here's something else we also got to bring up. The original, the nude version of the Electric Ladyland, all these 19 nude women on the UK release.
Now you think they slept with Jimi Hendrix himself? All those women? Or
I do not know. I would not be surprised if he did because groupies like that were like massive back in the day. There were lots of groupies out there. Hendrix probably had a few. I mean, the Rolling Stones, Mick Jagger, Mick and Keith, they probably got lots of them.
have you ever slept with a groupie yourself?
No, the last all the girls I ever slept with was basically either girlfriends or someone I was seeing at the moment, or usually booty calls. That was
Oh,
about, yeah. And God knows, after my girl died in 2001, I had a lot of women were like approaching me like crazy.
You had like tons of booty calls, right?
Yeah, I certainly did. In 2002 alone, believe it or not.
2005. What about 2005?
Oh, no, I was living somewhere else at the time, but a couple years later, I would get involved with the same girl I was involved in. Actually, the last girl I was involved with at that time, and we were reconnect and have a 4-year relationship until she decided to go back to her ex.
Well, you know what? We need to get to the next album.
Oh yeah,
Let's go
I
ahead and dive to let's see the list. Oh well, yeah, re-dive into that
the read.
Ladyland.
Oh yeah, definitely. That was apparently, as you know, the UK version, which came out on Track Records in the UK there. Whereas the one here in the album here, excuse me, the one here in the States would come out on the Warner's distributed label Reprise Records. Apparently, what it was is that I guess Jimmy wanted to do this one cover where it was supposed to have been the members of the Experience, Noel Redding and Mitch Mitchell, and with a couple of kids, and along with, I guess her name was Linda Eastman, who would later become, of course, Linda McCartney a couple years down the line. Now, that was the original cover, but their record company decided, nah, let's come up with something a little bit different. And they decided to use a blurred yellow and red photo of Hendrix's head while performing at a Saulville Theater taken by a photographer, Carl Ferris. Now, the UK version, which was that cover there that you showed me, was shot by David Montgomery, who shot the inside cover portrait for that album, depicted 19 nude women lounging in front of a black background. One holding up, I guess it's a big photo of Hendrix himself with the album title underneath there. Now, Hendrix expressed a displeasure with the cover there, but he later told Rolling Stone magazine that he did dug it anyways. As much as he was displeased with Axis Bodo's Love album cover, which he found disrespectful. The cover was banned by several record dealers as, of course, pornographic, while others sold it with a cover turned inside out in a brown wrapper.
What's the most shocking album you purchased cover?
Well, the one that was besides from Sabbath, Lady Sabbath, I think the other one would be the cover from Mob Rules, because it showed this a group of guys in this beige cloaks with mud and blood smeared over them, holding whips, and it has this little thing in the background, like where Satan's head is on the on this cloth that's been stretched out there. So I don't know, it's made there by someone's blood or whichever. I remember I showed that cover to my mom one time. It was like, oh, that's disgusting. And then I turned around and I showed her the Abotamog album cover by Uriah Heep, which came out the same year. She saw that. She had to take 5 steps back in shock. You got to look that definitely up.
Brown, can you go ahead and just block that Drama Club account in the chat?
Okay.
In your chat?
Okay.
Because they're causing too much drama and it's stirring from the main topic here.
Okay,
they're not even talking.
Oh yeah, what the fuck? You know what? Sorry, Drama God, but
it's not. That's. I mean, again, I'm gonna get blamed for that account, but it's not me. So.
All right, they're all gone. Okay, let's see if I can get rid of there.
Grand Illuminous is cool though.
Minimum.
Keep Grand Illuminous.
Okay,
I believe that's Joe. All right.
That's not Joe. I know that for sure. Now, look up Abotamog by Uriah Heep on the Google Images there, and you see what I'm talking about.
What's the name?
Abotamog.
Bottom log?
Abotamog. Let me look it up for you. It doesn't say nothing about the album cover there, but it is a freaky ass album cover. I saw that. When I saw that, I was like, holy shit, motherfucker, man. That's a freaky ass album cover. As I mentioned, it scared the hell out of my ma when I showed it to her. It's like right there.
Were they like a Black Sabbath ripoff?
Kind of like that. I guess you could say they were what I would call the low carb Black Sabbath when you think about it.
Here, look up that because I want to see that. What are you talking about? Try to find the name on that.
Balamog, the Riot Heap album.
How do you spell it?
It's Abominog.
Oh, okay, okay.
There you go.
Oh,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
which one? The
The,
Satan one?
yeah, the one that's the album cover right there. It's all over Google Images. That particular album cover. That was considered the most hideous album cover of all 1982.
With the devil's head on it?
Yes, right there. That is fucking freaky. Some sort of a monstrous demon on there. It's like, holy shit, man. Now imagine that as a massive poster that you can hang. Imagine that as wallpaper.
Mm.
Now, if you got a bratty kid or somewhere that won't pay attention to what you're trying to do, definitely tie him up to a chair there and have him look at that under strobe lights or something like that. See how scared he'll get. And have somebody come out, you have your voice come out of the loudspeaker, altered, of course, saying, "If you don't be good, you'll be facing me."
Yeah, this is Satan. Satan, Dr. Brown. Yeah, fuck yeah, this is Satan himself. Dr. fucking Brown. Shit, you're gonna take my big red cock. You get my big red penis and you'll know what it's about.
Satan.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, now keep in mind, We Are Riot Heap has also have put out some controversial album covers. Also want you to look up Very Heavy, Very Humble, which is heavy and humble without the H's in the beginning there. Now that is another freaky ass album cover. Pretty disturbing when you look at it. It's supposed to have been their UK version of their first
Ooh.
album. Yes. That cover definitely had to be changed. Most definitely.
Why?
Because it was creepy as hell. You see, a lot of U.S. record labels they'll put out good album covers that's controversial,
It's just
but
like
they
a
don't.
guy's face, though.
Yeah, but it's creepy as hell with the cobwebs and everything else. I guess Mercury Records in the States figured this is a little too creepy, so we'll replace it with a monstrous-looking centipede on the cover there as a gatefold.
Which that's pretty cool, too.
Yeah, it is. So, and plus, Innocent Victim, the U.S. version of the album cover, of that album cover, featured members of the band at that lineup at that time performing on stage in various photographs, while the UK version of that showed a snake with its mouth open, looking like he, you're next,
Yes.
motherfucker. Yes, look that up. Definitely look that album up, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Very, very menacing. Very menacing. It's like it has blood, a little bit of blood dripping out of its mouth, and as I mentioned, it's looking at you like you're next. He. Try me, motherfucker.
It is
Very,
pretty cool.
yeah. Is very now. Keep in mind that now with all these reissues that are coming out at all these independent record labels and UK labels, there are definitely now starting to re-release the original covers like the ones I mentioned here, with the exception of course, Virgin Killer. But also we gotta mention the first and only Blind Faith album cover, which featured another underage girl, but this time bare-breasted, but holding a toy silver model airplane, I guess it is. Yeah, that cover had to be changed as well, when you come to think of it as well.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember you showed that to me in the Skype chat earlier today. And also, one more album from Black Sabbath, Born Again. Now, what they did is that they, since Black Sabbath in its third lineup with their third frontman and a third drummer there, they decided to say, "Hey, Sabbath is born again," and noting the jokes and the stigma that Sabbath has as being a devil worshipping band. They decided, hey, let's take this picture of a newborn baby, let's make it red with a blue background, add a little bit of horns, red Sith eyes, and long fingernails coming out of its hands there. Now, here's the thing. Tony Iommi approved that album cover, while the singer on that album, Ian Gillan, who later rejoined Deep Purple a year later, did not like it at all. He said it was horrible. He hated it. He even stated at one time that first he saw the cover and barfed, then he heard the album and barfed. So basically, he was not a fan of the sound of that particular record as well as the cover.
Do you like it?
Oh yeah, I loved it. It was one of my favorite Sabbath records. I mean, it was like everything a heavy metal album should be: loud, rude, obnoxious, in your face, man. That's
What year was this?
It was in 1983.
No.
Yeah, it was our only album they did with Ian Gillan from Deep Purple, and it sadly that could have made a lot more, but sadly he decided to go back to Deep Purple after that tour was done. But apparently it was like an album that many Sabbath fans refused to buy for some reason. I guess what it was is that they were getting tired of Sabbath going through all these lineup changes here and there, which didn't stop, of course, because as a couple years later, Tony Iommi would have the name for himself and come out, excuse me there. He would come back with Black Sabbath featuring Tony Iommi and made about 5 more records under the Black Sabbath name.
Right.
Yeah.
What about the Nirvana Nevermind album?
Yeah. And, I know that caused a lot of controversy, as well as the follow-up record that came out of that, In Utero. No, now, Nirvana's Nevermind, of course, featured a nude baby swimming underneath chasing a dollar on a fishing line. I guess they had to put a sticker over its pee-pee there. The record company did.
Did they do? Did they really do that?
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. And that was about it. But however, for the second record, that one that came after that, Utero, they had a bunch of fetuses that had to be removed from the back cover, and he also had to change the title from one of the songs from Rape Me to Wave Me, and they basically did that at all the WalMarts around across the country.
Brian, have you ever wanted to waif someone?
No, never.
Waif. What does that mean?
Waif. It's like waif is a person that is a little scrawny. You remember all the waif models like Kate Moss and a whole bunch of others in the 1990s there. Remember how much of a controversy she caused for being so thin?
Well, we're thin. We're waifs.
Yeah, but they were picking on the models because basically at that time they were influencing little girls, to starve themselves to go anorexic so they could achieve that same figure.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, and in fact, you remember Naomi Campbell came to Kate Moss's defense saying, hey, she eats like a horse. She's healthy. That's her frame. That's her body frame. That's how it is.
Now, on that, how do they do the baby underwater, though?
I know. I guess, there was a technique, I guess it was done in Russia, where the kids are often born underwater there. They put the expending mother inside of a pool, and they would give birth right then and there. And if that's the way the baby could be used to having water in its lungs or having, as well as air, I guess. So I guess they'll try to come up with a submariner babies of their own. So that way if the kid falls off the boat and so he won't drown, he'll know what to do. He'll know how to swim and be okay.
It's weird.
I remember seeing footage back on when I was a kid back in the 1970s, how that was done.
And see, Steve, what's your favorite album? Oh,
Is he here?
he was here.
No, he was here for a couple of minutes. I know I saw that, and then and now he left. Yeah, you're right. He did leave there.
I invited some people in this call.
Okay.
Cronin, and there's still some people out there. We need their
Well,
top
I know, I
threes.
know. I think Crone is going to be doing his throwdown in a while there. I
Throwdown
guess.
program over
Yeah,
there.
I guess it's going to be about less than 30 minutes. I guess we're going to talk about Keemstar and others. I guess. So, anything you also want to add up regarding shocking album covers? You know, because God knows, I threw in a lot there. Oh,
Here, let's see.
I almost forgot one more notable mention. The Dwarves, Blood, Guts, and Pussy. Came out on the Sub Pop label. I forgot what year. It showed that two women and a dwarf, all in the nude and with blood splattered all over their bodies. Many record stores refused to stock the album because of that, and
What's the name of this one?
it's called Blood, Guts, and Pussy by the Dwarves. And of course, this is the same Dwarves that came up with this hoax that one of their guitar players was killed in a hold up there, and they did that basically as a publicity
Oh,
stunt. And because of,
dang.
yeah, another album cover that just probably have to sell in the paper bag when you walk out of it, or at least another cover within the cover there, like they did with Virgin Killer and a couple others there, like the Jimi Hendrix one that we
Yeah.
mentioned. Yeah, I guess what it is that, you know, and it's sad to see that we don't have any controversial album covers today, especially in this age of streaming music from websites. You know, because as I mentioned, the album cover helps sell the album itself. I mean, to look at the fourth and fifth Led Zeppelin albums, the cover on those there. Oh, by the way, you also got to get in Houses of the Holy, which was filmed at a place called Giant's Causeway in Northern Ireland. Now you
Yeah.
remember them. The two kids there was shot multiple times. It was a brother and sister named Stefan and Samantha Gates. They were multiple shots done there in the buff there. Of course, the boys at Hypnosis, who did the album cover, made a little bit of coloring on the rocks there, and of course added all the shots of all the kids up there. You know, the two brother and sister all over the album cover, so it looked like a whole bunch of kids climbing to reach into this point of light on the other side there. When you think about it. Now the front.
Uh,
Now look in the gatefold of Houses of the Holy. See, I'm a white guy holding up a white girl, like as a form of a sacrifice towards this light shining from a castle there. I showed that to my parents one time. They loved it because of the way it was shot. It was like it was a breathtaking shot, basically.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I see this one. What song on that one was good?
Oh, a lot. There was a lot. There was, of course, the Rain song, the grunge, um, No Quarter, Dancing Days, The Ocean. That's one of the top Led Zeppelin albums next to the first album and, of course, the fourth album. Now, the fourth album didn't cause a lot of controversy, but it did cause a controversy, but it didn't get him in a lot of trouble. It was just showed that old man with a bunch of sticks tied onto his back, it's by some building there, which has been torn down, showing the city underneath. And I guess the idea of that was to see if the music will sell alone, which eventually worked.
Yes.
Yeah, because to this day, it's still one of the top played Led Zeppelin records of all time, next to, of course, as I mentioned, Houses of the Holy and the Physical Graffiti and the first album there.
Let me look at the list here.
Mm-hmm. Of Led Zeppelin albums.
No, just the regular list. What about that Megadeth one with the hanging babies?
Oh, Euthanasia. that represents our youth being hung out to dry, I guess. But you know another freaky one they come up with was an album called "The World Needs a Hero," which has Vic Rattlehead, their mascot, bursting out of some guy's chest. That had to have been censored by their record label, Sanctuary Records, when the year that album came out.
Looking it up right now. Let's
Yeah,
see. Oh, that's their mascot?
yeah, it's his name, Vic Rattlehead. He's been on all their album covers. They did I know there was an album called United Abominations.
I just wanted to say real quick, sorry about that, Dave. I mean, Dave Rose. What's your name, Mister
Dr. Earl, yeah,
Doctor, whatever.
SC.
I just want to say real quick, Ken Morrison, you are a piece of shit. Go
What
fuck
the
yourself, bro.
fuck,
No, you're
dude?
listening.
Dude, what the fuck are you
fake
doing
fuck.
on
What
here
are
with that
you
drama
talking
bullshit?
about? What are you talking about?
This is a drama-free show. What are you...
What an idiot.
Dude,
Why?
he's done. He's done.
gone. He's gone. Why in the world is he going after Ken? On a show that's not even about going after everybody.
He's a fucking douchebag.
Oh,
with
gosh.
no show. He has no show.
Is
No
no
show.
show. You know what? Maybe we should probably block him from calling in on this program.
I mean, I try with him. I give him chances, but he constantly attacks
No,
people. Yeah.
He needs to quit his shit. Like we're in a good discussion here. I'm giving some insight on some on this particular subject, and he's talking to dissing Ken, this and that person, and he wonders why nobody wants him around. And also, one more thing, the Davies Dave thing is old man. That's back in the day. If that's the only thing he knows, then God help him, because we certainly sure as hell won't.
Like, it's run its course, SC Steve.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Come on, dude. You know better than that. You think we should probably start taking calls other than SCs?
Yeah, let's go ahead and...
Okay, let me...
what about that Beatles album cover?
Oh, yeah, so Yesterday and Today, the U.S. version. Now, as you know, if anybody who knows the album Yesterday and Today by the Beatles, it came out in 1966, and of course, the cover we know, as we all know, featured the Beatles in plain clothes while Paul is sitting inside of basically it was a little moving case there. But the original featured the Fab Four in a butcher coats, bunch of raw meat all over them, and plus a bunch of...
Sorry, I just wanted to say real quick.
What the
CC, what's your favorite album cover?
Fucking fab fucking flip-flopping faggot.
Let's see. You know what? You're gone.
He's done, dude.
He's gone. Maybe I should just, block his dumb ass for doing that, He's trying to cause shit, and we don't appreciate it. Tell you what, you know what? Probably later on, if you want YR, we could probably try to get Ken on this program and have SC on, so he could battle Ken 1-on-1. How about that?
We're not on this. Not on. We can do a drama show later, but not. I think Simo's going live later. Actually,
all right, definitely.
I think it's the drama show for the night.
Yes, definitely. We'll do that later on for shizzle. Now, as I was saying. Yesterday and Today, the original cover featured the Beatles in butcher's coats with a bunch of raw meat all over the place, over them on their laps, on their shoulders and stuff, along with decapitated baby heads, not doll heads, not real baby heads. Yeah, basically. Capitol Records in the States didn't really approve of that, so they come up with an alternative cover, as we know, with the Fab Four sitting around with Paul inside of a big, huge moving case.
What year was that?
That was 1966. Came out on Capitol Records in the States. It wasn't released in the UK there, because the UK had their own versions of the Beatles.
Real quick, I'm sorry about that, Dave Rose. Look, Ken, you're a piece of shit, dude. You go suck Fronen's balls again, fake fuck.
You're gone.
What?
Yeah, he did it again. He fucking did it again.
Dude, what's his problem?
I don't know. You know what? We're going to have to get a hold of Ken sometime later on after this program and get him to combat SC.
Like,
As I
is this
mentioned,
guy ever gonna come to the conclusion, like, and just be like, "Hey, man, I'll be cool.
I know. You know what? I don't
Everyone
think.
can
You know
be."
what? I'm sorry to say this, but he's not going to. He's not going to. He loves to stir the pot. He loves to stir shit up. And he's going to have to be dealt with because it's getting out of control. It's getting stupid. I mean, come on, man.
All right, we're gonna take a commercial break. I'm gonna get something to drink.
Okay.
A commercial break, Dr. Brown.
Yes, definitely. I got to do something as well. We shall return, folks.
String, oh so bad. You're in the chat with very glad. You know that'll set you free. You don't want anything to do with it. Call him Dr. Brown. Call him Dr. Brown. Call him Dr. Brown. Come on! And even though going on a string, you'll get knowledge of rocking things. Being metal, coming through. Metal maniacs and nothing to do. So baby, please come on your stream. Get the knowledge that you'll ever need. And then you will be alright. The one that in the channel is Dr. Call me Dr. Brown. Dr. Brown. Dr. Brown. Come on.
Okay, I guess it must be it. Not yet.
String, oh so bad. You're in the chat with very glad. You know that'll set you free. You don't want anything to do with it. Call him Dr. Brown. Call him Dr. Brown. Call him Dr. Brown. Come on! And even though going on a string, you'll get knowledge of rocking things. Being metal, coming through. Metal maniacs and nothing to do. So baby, please come on your stream. Get the knowledge that you'll ever need. And then you will be alright. The one that in the channel is Dr. Call me Dr. Brown. Dr. Brown.
Dr. Brown.
Dr. Brown.
Dr. Brown. Dr. Brown. What'd you have to go do? Get you something to drink? Dr. Brown? Dr. B? Dr. Brown. Can't hear you, Brown.
All right.
Uh,
Yeah, what happened there? Did something happen? Did we
I don't
get cut
know.
off?
There's so here. Make me a mod in your chat. There's so many troll accounts with
Okay.
drama. It's crazy.
Okay. Let me
Sickening.
Okay. Put something in my put something in write something in my chat here. Definitely.
All right.
Okay.
Did
Because
you I think you have a record viewer set over there. It was like 14 just now.
yeah, right now it's about 11 right now. Now get this. We got 2 likes and 11 dislikes.
Wow.
Probably
All right, I
SCS
put
some
Dr.
troll.
Brown in the chat. Do you see me?
Yes, the Great YR Search Party.
No, YR program.
No, not yet.
Then I'm blocked in your chat.
No. Am I? Oh.
Yeah, I put 2 things in there.
Mm-hmm.
If I said Dr. Brown.
Okay. Let me. Oh, let's see. I don't think I do. I don't think I did. No. Son of a name goat. Let's see.
Put 3 things in your chat.
I don't see. I see just nobody is
Wow.
safe. Great YR. No. Nobody's safe here. As he said, the entire media calls him a pedo on air every day. All the JCS Army going about his niece and daughter. They're talking about Bullfrog. This is not about
Yeah.
Bullfrog, okay? Jeez, dude. Man, so let me see if I can take care of these guys here.
Bullfrog can, like, if he never donates again, he's now a character in the community. He's now a household name.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know how much he donated to Joe, but like he's his own fucking thing now.
Yeah, it's
So
his
there you
own
go,
voice.
Joe. Joe created that.
Yeah. But then again, he had also did it to himself with the meaningless comebacks and the way he conducted himself. I mean,
Yeah, Ron Booth doesn't even see me in your chat.
Ron Booth. Huh. Ron
You have
Booth.
17 viewers, bro, right now.
Oh, wow. Shit, I don't know what to do.
Record.
I'm gonna try and... Let's see if I could figure out something here, because I took out Nobody is Safe, or... tell you what, let's see here. Maybe what you probably do is you'll come up with a new account and then YR something, and I'll definitely add you and make you a mod there. Because I don't recall this. I'm not
I
too.
think I don't want to make a new account and all that.
All right, you don't want to? All right.
Not to make a new one. I don't do that.
All right. Yeah, I'll figure it out here. Well, let me take a. Now Yig is okay there, and I think the Great YR Search Party is okay. It's just this Nobody
Yeah.
is Safe.
I think
here.
that's the sad thing. YR Search Party is a fan of mine.
Yeah, all right, that's cool. Shout out to that person there.
It's YR head out there.
All right. And a plus, now the one called I See Ron Booth here.
Shout out to Owen Hard, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
May 23rd.
Alternative reality. Scott's
today,
here. I know Scott's here in the chat, on my chat here, saying, being told the entire chat is about him. So, hello, I'm here. And the Great YR Search Party
Did you hear me? Did you hear me?
No, I'm sorry. What again? My bad. I'm reading what they're saying there. There's a little crazy going on. Some crazy shit going on here.
Owen Hart.
Owen what?
Well, no, it was about, Scott, it was about Bullfrog and you, I guess. Or mainly Bullfrog, I guess, right?
Yeah, that's what they were talking about a while ago on the chat there. But most of the time it was about Scott.
Oh. Well, you just said it was about Bullfrog. I wasn't following along. I was following along in my chat. But you got more viewers than me this time.
Oh, wow. There's something here.
14 viewers, bro.
Wow. And now just up to 15. Holy cow, dude. What the fuck?
All right, I'm saying we need to,
now,
let's see.
Let's see. Do you think we should probably take calls right now?
Yeah, open calls.
Okay.
Scott, if you wanna call in. And
yeah, go ahead, man.
Whatever.
And we should also probably. Well, babe, let me see if.
Well, hold on. I still got a few more albums we're gonna dive into here.
Okay, that's true. What do we got here?
What about that one, the censored with the plane and the chick?
The what again?
It said she's holding an airplane or something.
The Blind Faith album. Yes.
Yes.
That.
Look, man, real quick, I just want to get the point across. Cronin and Ken, you guys are both pieces of shit.
You're out of here.
What you got?
He's done, man.
How long is he going to drag that on?
It's old at this point. I see. It's old. It's getting.
It's old.
Yeah, it's annoying, bro. Like, come on.
I tell you, this is why
weird.
he's getting heat from everybody in this community. This is why, man. What the hell? Jeez, man. Anyways, you were talking about the blind faith. Blind faith. Yeah, the only.
Who are they? What year is that?
Well, it was a super group. It was a little project featuring members of Cream and Traffic, Steve Winwood, Ginger Baker, Eric Clapton, and a guy named Jim Gordon, who was involved with Derek and the Dynamos, Eric Clapton's group. Before that, they just put it out this one little.
Brown, you're not banning these accounts. You're just timing out these accounts. Ban the Drama God account.
I'm trying to. It doesn't say. It doesn't.
You don't know how. Because it says, look, you gotta hide them from the channel. Hide them from the channel. It says.
I know.
So hide Drama
it says
God.
Hide user from this channel there. That's
you, Devious Dave Rose, or Doctor, or whatever.
SC Steve, is that
you're
real
gone.
Is that you in the chat, SC Steve?
No, I don't do fake accounts. You know I always use my same account. Come on.
Can I ask Steve? Can I ask a question? Why do you?
Let
go fuck yourself, dog. Go fuck yourself, Ken. Ken and Cronin, go fuck yourself.
SC Steve.
He's
What's
gone.
His fucking problem, dude. He's
I
done.
know, he's an asshole. And I just deleted. Now it says here.
Let's go ahead and do it real quick, Chad. Can you go ahead and read the chat real quick? Alternate Reality did a big, long New York Times bestseller.
Okay.
Can you go read it for us?
Okay.
Do you see it?
There's just the one he just put it up. He said when they asked him if he would be willing to prove his innocence to the FBI, got tired of people accusing his of being a pedo, and I supported him, so I wanted to see him innocent.
Can't really argue with that.
Yeah. And I think so we're talking about Bullfrog, I
He
believe
he got shook up.
Yeah.
He got shook up. But that was the first time he got introduced,
Yeah.
to that alien fire. You know, I guess you can put it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And Scott's in my chat saying I don't want to.
They don't fuck around in DC over there, bro. They don't fuck around like.
Yeah. I didn't want to support a guy if he's really like that, so I wanted to try and help.
I mean, it's weird because it's like the Bullfrog guy or whatever. He reminds me of Tyler Black, but he's getting a different vibe. Like, he's getting that Tommy vibe. Like, people are obsessed to donate, to talk shit. People are obsessed to troll him. Like, people are like straight up. I mean, it's classic trolling that the audience is doing. I mean, it's classic trolling. Like just the stuff. The whole N-word thing they did or whatever.
Yes.
I mean, that's classic troll jobs, bro. And you can't really hate on that. They're just making, But it's there. People.
But then again,
people love to hate him, but I don't think people hate him. But
yet he is annoying as hell. I mean, like late yesterday.
You're not a Bullfrog guy?
Not much, no. Because here's the thing. He always comes. Here's the thing. The guy always comes up with the same comebacks over and over and over, and they're not witty. They're not funny. They're not something that was shocking. It's just the same old "fuck you, you Canadian bitch," that kind of stuff. And come on, it's just the same. It's the same shtick over and over. And it's not, as I mentioned, not funny or anything.
Can we start calling the Scott McKinnon fans in the community? Can we call them alien heads or Scott heads or something?
I think so. We could probably do that. It's okay with Scott, but then again, he probably has decides what his fans says not. Who knows? We could probably get him.
Ken, you're fake. Ken, Joe, you're fake.
Dude,
you guys
Steve,
are both
what are you
pieces of
doing,
shit.
dude? You're fucking done.
Both of you.
You're done,
and whatever your name is, Dr. Devious.
You have no
Rose.
show.
Like fucking Frankenstein.
Steve, can I ask a
whatever
question?
your name is.
Let him ask you a question.
Devious Dave Rose. I mean, fucking Earl, dude.
Let him ask you
Earl
a question.
Hebner. What's your name, Dr. Earl Hebner? Dude, the almighty young Republican is the best.
Let him
Ain't
ask you a
nobody can
question.
I'm
compare
trying to
to the
ask you a question.
Republican.
Steve,
But Dr. Earl Hebner, no way. Dr. Earl Hebner.
Let him ask
Let's
you a
talk about
I'm
question.
some
trying to
real
ask a
shit. Let's
question.
dive into how Cronin
Let him ask
and
you a
pieces of
question.
shit. They're both
I'm trying to
fake
talk.
fucks. Fuck.
You know what? He's gone.
Fuck him.
I'm
He's
gonna
done,
have
dude.
to. I'm
I'm
gonna
sorry,
have to.
dude.
All right. Let me see
SC
if I.
Steve, you'll never hear SC Steve
When we
on
done.
this channel or Earl's channel ever again, dude. He's
Yeah.
done. For
Yep.
real.
He's gone. I'm gonna see if I can add Simo to this conversation we're talking about. Hopefully he'll pick up here. He's always cool to talk with.
Open phone lines.
Yes, we are. Let's see if he'll and respond
What's
here.
what's Scott's personal favorite album cover?
You know, we could probably ask him. I could probably add him to the call here. Let's see if we can get him on
Maybe
here.
the classic Boston album cover with the
Maybe.
space shuttle. I mean, not shuttle, with
This
the
the guitar-shaped spaceship leaving the
yes.
exploding planet Earth. Let's see if I can find him here.
Scott was he had his back, bro, but that dude turned out to be iffy. That makes sense.
Iffy. Let's see here. Bullfrog again.
Yeah, he ain't gonna. He's gonna stick around. Cronin's not dumb. He's gonna keep him around one way or another.
Who Bullfrog?
He's basically a Tommy substitute.
Yeah.
Tommy really doesn't put in any
I'm going to add
effort
Scott.
into these shows anymore.
Okay, I'm going to add. See if I can add Scott to the call here, so he can give his little take on our tonight's subject as well as SC and what his crazy. And he says he's unavailable. What the fuck? Huh?
Maybe he doesn't want to talk. But
Maybe I don't know. Yeah, but let's see if I can.
It is crazy though, Scott. Like this show, we weren't even diving into drama, and like the whole chat, it was about
and of
you.
course,
I mean, it was about Bullfrog, but it was about you. So that's interesting. All the community chats are all about Scott.
Yeah.
Scott needs to go ahead and clip that. All the community chats are all about Scott. Scott Tent in the chats.
Yeah.
I mean, that's people are obsessed with him.
Yeah, but you know what that means? Scott must be doing something right. When you think about it.
Yeah, but he's a star, bro, and everyone knows it.
Yeah, that's
you know,
true.
people aren't like Joe. They need to if they use Scott on the shows, if they had Scott on the shows, the donations that would come in, would be a lot would be the hate donations, like Tommy get.
Yeah,
you know?
The same thing as they do with Tommy.
But when whoever Joe has on the shows, people like a lot of times. So there'll be a lot of alien heads, a lot of Scott fans in.
Yeah.
Around too. It's just, Joe needs to have him on for more than just one fucking show. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But it's what it is. We'll see what happens.
But then again, people are going to expect, that's how Joe often draws in the viewers. If they see Scott on this program, they're hoping to possibly see him. They're going to be drawn into the next program to see if Scott will show up again, if he's there or not. He's Joe.
If Joe did if Joe did if Scott was on 4 programs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, give me a minute. Take over.
All right. Okay. So basically, what I'm saying is, that, Joe can have Scott on and have all this viewership and all this stuff coming out in the donations or in the phone calls or Skype calls. And then Joe is going to, but that could probably tease the audience into thinking that he'll be back next week on the same program. Even if he's not there, Joe will still have the audience that he's getting from Scott being on the last time.
Right.
So I think that's one of the main motives there. That's how you get to draw in the viewership.
So here, I'm going to break it down to y'all real quick here.
Okay.
See, doing the math. seen that? You seen that? Drama Club has been active.
Active. Yeah, I know there've been lots of
I mean,
active. They
Drama
put
Club,
Scott's,
Drama God,
yeah,
Drama
drum,
God's been active. I mean,
and yeah, yeah, I removed that from my chat there. Has it been active on your chat as well, or no? Just SC. They're saying something like very sickening. And there's a guy there named
SC Steve's in your chat. SC Steve's in your chat.
no, he was in your chat. He only said
Oh.
two words: very sickening.
That's
And
why
I
he's
did,
not a mod. That's why I didn't make him a mod because
I know,
he is sickening.
I know. And there's another person in your chat named Ike Soda, asking if we talked about ACDC yet. Well, the subject is ACDC has yet to put out a controversial album cover, unless you want to include Highway to Hell, which had Angus Young with the holding the devil's tail and horns on his hat there.
Right.
Yeah, but that's not really that controversial compared to the stuff that we mentioned earlier on tonight.
That's not really that. Let's see. So about Scott, if he
Yeah.
was on 4 programs
Mhm.
and starting at like 7 o'clock, 7 or 8 o'clock, like if Joe went on, like okay, so if Ken goes live, let's say like 9 o'clock, Ken
Yeah.
goes live on Saturday. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
If Scott goes on Ken's program,
Mhm.
and then because Ken and Joe were, if Ken and Joe keep this thing going, we're being them cool. I mean, like them being cool. Ken
Being
will plug,
united.
obviously Ken will plug Corrupted on his program.
Yeah.
So with Scott being on Ken's program, see if Scott was on a Saturday night,
Yes.
and then they plug Corrupted, blah blah blah, and then Joe does a Corrupted pre-show. You know what I'm saying? If Ken, does a show and then they do a Corrupted pre-show on YouTube free, if Scott's on that program, that's 2 programs. Then if Corrupted, do Corrupted, if Joe brings Scott on board for Corrupted
Mm-hmm.
with Filthy and Ken and
Yeah.
Joe, that's 3 programs for Scott.
Yes.
Boom.
And Corrupted and
people are automatically
going to tune in.
gonna tune in and get extra patrons for Joe,
Yeah.
just because Scott's there.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
no, it's not gonna be COVID talk. They got to throw in some type of drama. They got to have some type of something to go off of, and that's gonna make
Whether it's talking
community
about
great again.
yeah,
Really.
whether it's talking about of course, whether it's drama with this other YouTuber or what's going on within social justice, society, what's
Especially
going
if you
on.
get like if fucking. I mean, I know Rose says he's not gonna be on monetize this
Yeah, that's
ever again,
true.
but
Yeah,
if
sadly.
there's some other I mean, if everyone still can be involved in some type of way,
Mhm.
yes, we all want everyone to be involved on one show together.
Yeah, it would be
But
nice. Yeah.
even if fucking, you know what I'm saying, like
Yeah.
they do, Joe brings back fucking, what's that show called?
Throw down
UFO show.
a UFO show. I think it's UFO show. UFO show.
Remember
Uh,
the space show? What is it called? I'm drawing a blank here, Brown. Come on.
spaceship show. Project UFO. No. There's so many UFO programs out there.
No, that Cronin did. That Joe
Oh,
did.
you mean Drama God, Evil Spectrum 3.
No, Joe used to do that one program, bro, that used to be about like UFOs, like space.
Oh, you mean
He used to do
Final Frontier News. There you go.
Final Frontier.
Yes.
And if he brought that back with Rose and Scott,
Yeah.
don't make it a corrupt. Don't make. I mean, like yeah, like the main thing is Patreon,
Yes.
but do a couple free shows on YouTube to make people get to the Patreon, because that's a good show. Like bring both of them on that, since Rose won't do monetize this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You still have Scott for monetize this.
Well, the thing,
Like,
the thing with with Dave is that he's issued, as you know, he issued a challenge to Joe not too long ago about having a debate about Joe's outlook towards the white race, because he's made a lot of jokes about white people and in the
Yes.
past many times. And
You saw
Dave,
that? You saw that? You saw
yeah,
that?
yes, I was on the call. I was on Monetize This. It was episode 240 when that whole deal went down when Joe decided to remove Dave from the call because of the heated argument they had. And of course, that was when the same night that Leah went off on Mars, Mira. And they addressed
Yes.
that the following night on Mars's channel, those two incidents. So, and you remember back in when I was doing the simulcast with Real as Fuck TV, Dave was on there with Joe, and Dave did say, sadly, that they can never probably
No,
never work together.
that show's really gone off down the tubes.
You know,
That Raft, that Real as Fuck TV,
yeah,
it's gone down the tubes, bro.
well,
You know what I'm saying?
I know that's why I'm on there to keep it afloat. Last Thursday night was a crazy ass show, man. We had just about everybody on. When you think about it, everybody except Simo.
Yeah, he missed out. Is he still going live tonight? Let me look.
I do not know. I tried to
Look,
add him
add
to the
Scott in the chat because like
add Scott.
he wants to address this and finalize. There's
Okay, I tried to do that earlier, and it said it was unavailable. Let's see if I can try them. Let's see if I can add him again.
Simo.
Okay. No, I'm not adding SCC, you motherfucker. Quit doing that shit. I'm gonna add Scott, who has intelligence. Let's see if Scott will call in. It's saying that he's calling in. It's calling in, and sadly he's unavailable at this moment. Maybe you could probably try and add him in.
You might have me blocked. ACDC really didn't have any shocking covers, right?
No,
You
not
think
at all.
about it?
Not really.
I mean, maybe the Power Rage.
Yeah, well, it wasn't that really that shocking. That was a joke because of the name, and plus, since Angus is like the mascot and the lead guitarist, they figure since a name like Power Edge, they could probably just stick him to a bunch of wires to where his hand's supposed to be and have him look like he's being electrocuted or generating power.
Dr. Brown, would you go to an ACDC concert next year?
I would
He's
like to check it out. Yes, it would be see it. It'd be good to see how Brian Johnson is see if he's still able to sing since with the hearing issues he's had. In fact, it would be nice altogether if ACDC were to return.
Well, there was rumblings. Let's go together to that concert.
All right, if they're playing out in the Houston area, if it's okay to go see shows. In
Did
fact,
that Iron Maiden show, was that their last tour ever?
no, they're going to be continuing. They're supposed to do a lot more shows this year, but as we all know, all those got postponed, and possibly they'll probably be doing some shows probably either later on this year or probably in the fall or in the following year, 2021.
Yeah, I'm gonna check them out.
Yeah, it would
Sure.
be nice to
I
check
mean,
them
I already
out.
saw him back in. Remember, like what we were talking about? I saw him back in
No,
maybe 2010,
yeah,
2009.
yes, right, definitely, and it will be also, and I think I mentioned this before. They were supposed to do a joint tour with the Judas Priest. That would be the ultimate metal tour right
Ooh,
there.
ooh, that would be good, Ryan.
Yes, that would be great.
Which one? KK's Priest or?
The Judas Priest, the current lineup that's right there right now with Rob Halford, Scott Trappist, Ian Hill, Richie Faulkner, and whoever is going to be their lead guitarist. If they are able to get Andy Sneap back into the fold, as well as Glenn Tipton, most likely it'll be a trade. It'll probably be a six-man lineup, whereas Andy Sneap be filling in some riffs for Glenn Tipton.
When is the last time you seen Judas Priest?
It was back in. It was the only time I saw them was back in was in 1986 when Turbo was out, and that was at the Joe Louis Arena.
Oh, that was they only played Turbo Lover.
Yeah, that's when Turbo Lover and Locked In were the
So
two
that's
hit
the only
singles.
they only played that album.
No, they did all their others as well, including the Sentinel, Living After Midnight, got another thing coming. They did all the greats there. This is what
Where was your seats at that arena?
I think it was in. It's in between. It was in between the main floor and the upper balconies. It was like closer, but it was not really close to the stage, but it was like closer to the main floor. People are like telling me and my friend, to jump over there, get to this main stage. Yeah, yeah, which is bullshit because security would be grabbing your ass and tossing you right out.
All right.
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
going on in the chat now? Let's see.
Let's see. We got the Great YR Search Party, Alternate Reality. I don't know if
It's
that's
got to be
Scott.
blown. I don't know who that is.
I don't know, but because it's obviously not Scott because we tried to contact Scott earlier on and he's not available. So
Is Bullseye Bullfrog?
no, it's somebody else. Someone who
Oh,
donates on Joe's program there.
I saw you on JB's program the other day. And,
Yeah, yeah. But JB was by himself. His one of his co-hosts, D Moon, had some business to take care of, and
well, no,
of
there was
course,
no business, bro. No one's been talking about it. D Moon got fired
yeah,
because
I know.
JB said he's conspiring with people on the side or
Yeah,
whatever.
and
And
plus, Dummy is
what
gone.
JB said, yeah.
Yep, and Dummy
I
is
called
gone.
in. I called in, and he wouldn't have it.
Oh,
So
he's not a big fan of you. We all know that. So I was able to call. Well, basically, JB was by himself, so I figured I'd come out and help out the guy there.
right.
Yeah, because we were supposed to do Stump the Dummy that afternoon. His little Jeopardy like a quiz thing there.
Stump
So
the dummy. Yeah, y'all
Stump
didn't
the
even do that.
yeah, and plus Dummy, he couldn't make. He wasn't there as well, so he may be fired just as well.
Right. Let's dive into your
Go
chat.
ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, my chat. I know. Man, we should probably talk about the chat all night here, because they're not. Everybody in my chat, what the heck is going on? Are you just talking about Bullfrog or what's he doing or what the heck?
That guy's a loser.
Yeah,
How do you like the thumbnail?
I like it. It's pretty damn good. You got a lot of good ones up there. You got the
Lick it up. Let's bring that up.
yeah,
It wasn't a shocking cover. Well, it was because it was the first one of them
without the
unmasked.
makeup. Yeah, now keep in mind that album. Actually, Kiss revealed the makeup. They revealed themselves without the makeup prior to that album coming out. By the way, they remember it was a Sunday night. They were on MTV. J.G. Jackson was the host. For the first time tonight, we will actually see the members of Kiss without the makeup. And he
Right.
introduced it to everybody: Paul, Gene, Vinnie Vincent, and Eric Carr. And I remember my sister was looking looking at Vinnie Vincent was like, is that a woman? And of course, the
It's
main
true.
one, yeah. When you think about it, he looks more like a woman now. When you think about it, because he's
Can you tell
obviously
these people to chat to stop arguing and call in, Dr. Brown? I mean, in your chat, this is ridiculous.
all right. Everybody in my chat, pay attention, okay? Whatever you're trying to do, stick to the topics that we're talking here. I don't want to be a prick, but come on, you know,
Or at least
this,
call in.
or at least
God,
call in and to talk about or talk about what's going on here. What the hell?
we are live doing a show.
Yeah,
Like,
we're trying to
that's.
talk about the subject that we're pertaining to right now. So, come on.
I mean, we're diving a little bit. Me and Dr. Brown, we're diving into a little bit of drama here.
Yeah,
Would
we are
you,
trying.
you know,
We are driving into drama, even though I know why our search party said sorry, guys. All
that
right,
person's been on for a while.
all right.
That person popped up when I got sick. Like,
Wow, the Gray YR
5 months.
search party.
Yeah.
Wow. And Turner says, okay, I'll let them deal with it now. Never mind. Never mind. Scott says, yig.
There is a lot of drama in this community.
I
You know what I'm
know.
saying? Like,
Yeah,
people, like, just this bullfrog thing alone, that's like a top
that's
deal.
probably the big thing there. Well, Yig, we were talking about. I don't know who we're not talking about. Bullfrog Yig, and they're talking about this other guy named Bullseye.
Yeah, those are two different people.
Two different
It's
people,
kind of
believe me.
confusing. It is
Yeah,
confusing.
because of the word bull in each of their names.
You want to get Bullfrog on the show here?
No, because you know what's going to happen. He's going to talk a lot of gibberish and a lot of
Are you
things that we're
sure?
not interested in. He's not going to able to make sense with his words, and plus, he's going to. I think he's going to try. He's going to busy try to get himself back on Joe's program there. Just watch.
What was the confirmed amount that was donated to get him off?
I don't really know, but it had to be about in the upper thousands range, for what I understand
No.
altogether. Because I saw they showed it on the screen there last Friday night, and I guess it was around that particular range. Oh, get this, he wanted to come on be a co-host for JB's show, and JB was like, "Fuck no."
Well,
Hmm.
everyone in this community goes to the three shows. The three shows.
Hmm.
I don't know. I wouldn't put JB up there on like the pedestal of the big three anymore. I mean, obviously it's Ken and Joe
Yeah,
get the most views, but I
yeah,
mean we can get as much views as JB, so we're pretty much even because his subs are subs throughout the years when he was cool with Joe. So obviously he's gonna get that,
yes, hmm,
just Joe love from him, to him when he was cool with him.
yeah,
So it's a sick situation that's going on with JB and Joe, bro.
I
It's
know.
not even a work. It's not a work. JB said. I mean, Joe says I'm kidding. He's not kidding. But it's still those jabs. JB to throw his jabs as well. Okay, and it's weird. And JB knows he's. I mean, I know. I don't know. He's just. It's weird. What is your thoughts on JB?
I know. So, well, JB's a cool guy. I've had a lot of cool conversations with him on his program and on Joe's program as well. You know, a lot of times, yeah, I know a couple of times he defended, stuck up for me, tried to explain my theory, my situation with Tommy to Tommy himself. Because Tommy, it's like saying I'm not autistic, and JB was like, he clearly is, and he was, kind of say, that the reason I said Tommy was entitled because that's how he presents himself.
All right.
Yeah, and
What's this exclusive thing here?
who JB's exclusive thing?
Here, listen.
Hmm.
Your video. Exclusive TV channel.
I think we're in an age now that regular TV stations are.
Oh, that. Oh yeah.
Let's dive into that.
Yeah, we got a lot of. Oh, we got all these channels coming up there. Like we have Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, Hulu TV, Amazon TV. We got this one called
Streaming
April.
apps.
Yeah, streaming apps. Yeah, all these program these channels, streaming channels here. They're all popping up out of the place, and now it's because it's announced that NBC's would be coming up with their own little streaming channel. I guess it's called Peacock TV. I guess HBO has one of their own, I guess, if I'm
NBC.
correct. NBC, yes. Now we need is, I don't know if Fox has any of their own, but I know ABC are the only ones left out in the realm that doesn't have one yet, but they'll probably come up with one pretty soon.
Well, it's what people do now. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah, because people are getting fed up. Probably because people are getting fed up with what's on network television as of late. All the good programs have been long gone, whether it's Seinfeld, Big Bang Theory, Cosby Show, Family Ties, Miami Vice. All those programs have been long gone, and the stuff that we got right now just hasn't been really cutting the cheese. Most of the comedy, the sitcoms out there right now is just usually canned laughter or when the joke sets are not even funny. And Gordon Hammerstein says Kiss has awesome album covers. Oh, you ever check out the Rock and Roll, the back cover of Rock and Roll?
Rock and roll all over.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was looking at them. I was looking at those. I mean, like Metallica. I was looking at those covers. They're not really that.
offensive.
Like,
They're not that shocking, no.
yeah, I mean, um,
Well,
Guns
Metallica's
N'
not that.
Roses.
Oh yeah, the original Appetite for Destruction.
Yeah, Appetite for Destruction. That's
Yeah, but
one.
yeah, for those who I'm talking about, people only know the cross with the skull heads of the band members on the front cover there. That's not the original cover. The original cover was a painting by Robert Williams, Robt. That's how he spells his name. It was this massive, mega. It's basically you have to look it up in the original cover if you can on Google Images here to see what I'm talking about. It depicts this creature jumping up behind a fence to pounce on this tin like figure, like a tin man figure, who's in shock because of what he did to this one woman there. Apparently sexually assaulted her, and this creature's coming out to pay him back for what he did to that gal there.
Jesus, we didn't dive into that Dio album,
Which
Holy
one?
Diver.
Holy Diver? Yeah, it was
Yeah.
talking about that because it was like this monster. Guess his name, mascot. His name is called Murray, I think it's called, if I'm correct. I remember reading about it back when that album came out. I guess that was his mascot's name, and it's like pulling a priest into a drowning water. I guess. I guess
Right.
I don't think anybody complained about that album cover, but still, if but to the religious out there, the ones who are into Jesus and that, they're gonna look at that with a very distasteful viewpoint there. Definitely,
Christ consciousness.
yeah. Basically, But then again, there are others I've heard about as well that was not so pretty cool. That really caused a lot more, much of a stir than that particular album cover there. And there's a lot more explicit. And we also cannot forget, once and for all, Cannibal Corpse. There's some of the uncensored album covers that they have put it out there. Whether it's mutilated, butchered at birth, eaten back to life, or vile. They had some pretty gross ass album covers as well.
Right.
Yeah. I can't really get into that because a lot of that material is very disturbing to describe there. You have to look it up on Google Images and see for yourself there, folks.
So you want to give the let's give the for episode 7.
Yeah, but
You want to go ahead and do Texas
yeah,
Texas
so
musicians?
yeah, definitely we gotta bring up a lot of Texas bands out there. Texas rock and roll, Pantera, ZZ Top, Pantera, Hellstar, the locals.
Stevie
And
Ray Vaughan.
yes, definitely Stevie Ray Vaughan. He definitely gets a special nod because he helped put this great state of Texas on the rock and roll map next to the little old band from Texas. Gotta be mentioned as well. We should probably dive into a lot of other. Definitely, I would be looking up bands from the Texas area.
Yes.
Definitely in there for sure. And that would be in
What
the
else would you
episodes.
want to dive into on next week's episode?
Well, we could probably dive in on something there. Let's say anything that comes to mind. Are you? Because the only thing I have right now is the Texas bands out of Texas.
Well, think about it. Think about it throughout the week, Dr. Brown. If you want to add any.
That definitely will do so. I will definitely. I got a whole week to do that there since this is a weekly program. Okay. So I guess this be the end of the program, I guess.
Are you all out of everything?
Yeah,
You
pretty
done?
much all out of everything there. I guess so. We had our discussion for tonight. And SC Steve, next, don't try to call in no more because
Yeah, he's done. He's banned.
I'm
Perma-banned.
gonna. As
That
soon
was
as
a
we
free
done,
ban.
yes, I'm going to also block him on Skype as well because we don't need that shit here.
He's done, bro.
Okay.
All right, guys. Episode 7 next week.
Same.
We can work it out, everybody.
Can work it out.
Sing it with me, Dr. Brown.
The
Can
king
you walk and still think it's alright? Gonna see what he's saying. Joe can work it out with everyone and say goodnight.
We can work it out.
And
We can work it out.
Life
Life
is
is
very
very
short.
short, and there's no time
Dr. Brown,
for fussing and fighting, my friend.
Community song right now.
And I've always thought that it's
a
a
crime.
crime. So I will ask you once again.
Here we go. Try to see it Joe's way. Only time will tell if he is right or he is wrong. Try to see it Scott's way. There's a chance that we might fall apart before too long.
Oh! Work it out. We can work it out.
It's
Very short, and there's no time for fussing and fighting, my friend.